Hey, listen to Wrestling Roundup on FreeFM, ArrowFM, and MPR. As always, I'm Grady, and live on Skype we got Josh.
Hey.
Let's run through a lot. We got Clash of Champions. We're going to look ahead to NXT TakeOver 31. There was some stuff on Raw, some stuff on SmackDown. We got a lot to get through, but we're going to start with Clash of Champions. Cesaro and Nakamura successfully defending their titles against the Lucha House Party with a little bit of post-match.
It was a good tag team match. There was a moment where I thought maybe they'd do it, but nope. Cesaro and Nakamura retained, and then beat the living daylights out of the Lucha House Party after the match.
Yeah, the Lucha House Party are sort of continuing that breakup, that dissension storyline that they got going. I normally this is where I'd sit here and I'd go, I'm interested to see where it goes. Not particularly with this one. I think the Lucha House Party have just been floating for a while. Like, they're amazing. Don't think I'm saying they're not. But they haven't had an impact. It's not like, oh my god, they're breaking up. That's not the feelings I have. I'm like, oh, okay, they're breaking up. I guess Kalisto gonna go singles now or whatever. I'm super
scared to death what'll happen to Lince Dorado after this breakout is so official, because unless they really let him be who he is, like on his social medias, he's just going to fade into obscurity.
Yeah, it's quite sad. I don't know what is the future for these three, but we will wait and see. Talking about three people, the longest match on the card, the opener, the ladder match, the Intercontinental titles, hanging above the ring, Hardy, Styles, and Zayn.
These three brought it and then some. This was definitely match of the night. And I gotta say, Sami Zayn is a mad scientist.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think purely bell-to-bell content, match of the night, hands down. Nothing there that's gonna surprise anybody. They're three talented wrestlers. And yeah, Sami Zayn ends up walking out with the title thanks to some pretty inventive methods.
Yeah. Let's see here. Handcuff Jeff Hardy to a ladder with using his ear. I guess we can thank Randy Orton for that one.
Jeff's really got to let that seal up.
Yeah, and then he handcuffed himself to AJ Styles, which forced AJ to carry him when he was trying to climb the ladder. Then he unhooked himself when Jeff finally made it in with the ladder he was handcuffed to, and then handcuffed AJ to the ladder so that he couldn't climb it, and proceeded to climb the other side and take down the titles.
He definitely deserved them at the end of that, and we now have heel Sami Zayn as the undisputed Intercontinental Champion.
Which means that retroactively he's been Intercontinental Champion for 6 months.
I know Sami Zayn posted a meme on his Twitter. It was the space captain with the two buttons in front of him, deciding which button to push. And on one button was, I never lost the title, one long title reign. And the other one was two-time Intercontinental Champion. I don't quite know how it's going to be officially recognized. I imagine WWE will count this as a second title run officially on the books.
I don't know, because they consider... you have to remember back in 2011 was the Summer of Punk, right? 2011, 2012?
Yes.
They considered that one long run for CM Punk when he was gone.
That's true.
And they came back and they had crowned another champion, and then they unified them between him and Cena. And when he retained, it stretched out as one long run.
We'll have to see how they play it on SmackDown going forward.
Yep.
Let's stick with the men's division. United States title match. Bobby Lashley taking out Apollo Crews. Nice, easy by the books match.
Yeah, there was really no interference in the match. Lashley just beat Apollo Crews.
Yeah, we kind of learnt why. Like, WWE were quite vague about it at the start of the show. But in terms of this pay-per-view definitely got completely sidetracked by the fact that there were some positive COVID tests in the WWE/NXT sphere. Not necessarily who had them, or people being involved in matches who did have the positive tests, precautionary measures being taken and all that. It just meant that some matches got changed. People like Retribution weren't cleared to be on the show. I imagine they could have had a play into this match, but we'll never know. And it just meant that, some things didn't happen that we were maybe predicting were gonna. And also meant that our women's tag team match ended up getting shifted as well, with Nia and Shayna unable to defend them as well.
Yeah, that'll be interesting to see how they play that off. I think this may be one of those blessings in disguise type things, because it allows them to tell the story a little bit longer between the Riot Squad and Jackson Baszler.
Yeah. And something to note over on Raw, the day after Clash of Champions, is that women's tag team division did get another team. The drafted Mandy Rose hooking up with Dana Brooke to form a new tag team on Raw.
Anything for our girl.
Anything that gets Dana Brooke airtime, that's all that matters.
Yep.
And I guess while we're in this women's division and we're talking about some COVID changes, let's talk about both of the women's tag title matches. First up, Asuka successfully defending against Zelina Vega.
Yeah, this was a good match. Again, we need to see Zelina as a full-time wrestler. I think she's showed that she definitely deserves it. And by the way, you called this a tag title match.
Shh.
But yeah, this was a really good short match between them, and I enjoyed what they did on Raw too. It told a story of Asuka being weakened by having her arm injured, and Zelina trying to take advantage of it.
Yeah, because also to mention is that Bayley's opponent, Nikki Cross, was unable to show up for the pay-per-view, and that meant that Bayley had no challenger, and the woman to step up for that SmackDown Women's Championship opportunity was Asuka in her second match of the night.
Which ended in 3 minutes.
It was to further a story, definitely.
Yeah. Bayley retains due to disqualification, and then proceeds to get beaten like a government mule by the returning Sasha Banks.
It was for Asuka, it was a really busy night, and then as you say over on Raw, it makes sense. Third match in 2 days, burnt out a little bit, but really the women's division, the focus and the story is that Sasha Banks return, is the Sasha Banks Bayley feud heating up, is not quite at boiling point, but heating up. And where do we go from here with these two?
I'm not sure what Asuka's plans are. That's a big question mark, because we don't really know the fluidity of the women's division. For all we know, the Riot Squad could win the tag titles in the next couple of weeks, or at Hell in the Cell on November 1st. And then you have one of those two spin off and face Asuka at Survivor Series or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
You really don't know, because unfortunately and there's also another event arising that's kind of putting a lot of questions in our minds too.
Yeah, we do have to mention that. This is a good time. Throw it in here.
Because it was announced during the pay-per-view that the WWE draft will occur on the 9th and 12th.
It's pretty soon. And yeah, that's going to be a big shakeup, I think, in terms of, we got a couple champions like Asuka at the moment, like the WWE champion who have run through pretty much the entire divisions. So a little bit of a shakeup doesn't hurt.
Yeah. And then you have Bayley, who's just run through everything. But we have a clear direction. We just don't know. Are they pulling the trigger soonish, or are they waiting?
I still say they get separated in the draft. I still think that's what they do.
I honestly think that probably would be the best. It would let the thing simmer, but you still have hints and stuff. But then you get to the Royal Rumble, where Sasha says she has to win the match in order to face Bayley.
HBK Taker storyline.
Yeah. So that's definitely, I think that is definitely the best option.
Mm-hmm.
But of course we know WWE isn't always apt on choosing the best options.
That's true. We'll with the draft, as much as this should be our catchphrase on a shirt, we'll have to wait and see what happens. With the draft, we have no idea. You cannot predict that draft and what it is going to do to both of these brands in terms of their rosters, their divisions. We'd be foolish to try and predict too much further out than that.
Yeah, heck, we may even see tag teams get blown up by the draft.
No, we don't have enough tag teams in this company, right? I don't know if we can afford to blow up tag teams. But yeah, who knows? But you do say tag teams, and there is one more match that wasn't a world title match on Clash of Champions that we should get to before the break. It's the Street Profits defending their titles against Andrade and Garza with a very scary moment towards the end.
Yeah, unfortunately, and this is the nature of the beast, Angel Garza got hurt during the match, and they had to throw a major audible and end the match early. In a very strange way, because they did not inform the performers. Because you had Andrade kick out, but still get counted for 3. And then you had Angelo Dawkins actually look mad.
Yeah. The comms definitely let them down there, but the audible was probably the right call.
Yeah, because it was clear Andrade and Garza was supposed to win the title here. But it may have also inadvertently created another storyline.
Yeah. Because
Garza had a promo saying he'll be back, but he was not the weak link in their tag team. So
stop breaking up the teams. You have 4 of them.
Well, they have no choice. Garza's got to go away for a while.
Yeah, I get it.
So yeah, that seems to be the direction they're going. Is that eventually Andrade versus Angel Garza is going to be.
Mm-hmm. Well, we'll have to see what happens on Raw with that developing situation. But for now, let's go into our entrance theme of the week. It is for the undisputed Intercontinental Champion, Sami Zayn. And you're back with the Wrestling Roundup on FreeFM, ArrowFM, and MPR. We got a couple matches left from Clash of Champions to get through, and then quickly a look over at NXT TakeOver 31. So, which match do you want to talk about? WWE Championship or Universal Championship?
Let's talk about the Universal Championship so that you can end the show with your gloating.
NXT might ruin that, but let's give it a shot. Roman Reigns, Jey Uso, what a story.
Yeah, this was amazing, and there were a couple moments where Jay almost won, just as we expected. But yeah, that was all about the story of the match.
Mm-hmm.
I think Roman Reigns was always great with the in-ring psychology. He was able to tell a story as a face. He is really able to tell a story as a heel.
Yeah, we talked about that Intercontinental title match as being like match of the night. For me, the Reigns and Uso entire piece is story of the night. Like from the start of it with Reigns said, hey, maybe Jay should get a shot in the Fatal 4-Way, to him winning it, to the build, to them teaming together, to the package beforehand with all of their family members, to the Between the Bell content, to the end with Jimmy Uso like throwing in the towel and then hugging his brother as Reigns stands over top of him. It's like just an amazing storytelling.
There's clearly only one way that this can go. And that's at WrestleMania with Reigns versus Rock. That's the
everybody
end goal.
had that idea.
That's got to be the end goal. I think anybody with eyes can see that because of the whole tribal chief stuff. That's what they call Rocky's grandfather, Peter Maravilla.
The connections are there. It's written in pencil. Just waiting for somebody to come over and ink it.
Yeah, it's definitely there. I think Roman's just getting better and better as he embraces this heel run. They took pun intended, the handcuffs off of Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
And apparently they put them all on AJ Styles and Jeff Hardy. Yeah, it's just such an amazing match. I think if it wasn't for the ladder match, this would have been easily match of the night.
Mm-hmm.
But it was definitely you're right, story of the night. They told, although your boys match came close.
Close runner-up.
Yeah. But yeah, every little piece, the constant barking by Reigns, wanting him to call him Chief and stuff, that all built and built. You had Jay almost beat Roman by hitting the slash and stuff. And then you had Roman just absolutely tear him a new one.
That's a nice way to put it.
And just refuse to pin him. Spear, ground and pound punches. And to the point where Jay was knocked out. The referee should have stopped it, honestly. But Jimmy finally threw the towel in on his behalf. And then you have that visual, that Rocky 4 visual of Roman standing above with his championship over Jay, who's been knocked out, and Jimmy just cradling him.
Mm-hmm.
The same thing they did with Dijakovic and Keith Lee.
Yeah.
And Karrion Kross. So everything just worked so well together in that match. I really hope that they do something with Jay out of this, because I think he earned it with the performance he had in that match and leading up to it.
Mm-hmm. And you mentioned my boys match, just because we got to fit NXT in at the end here. I will jump on over to the WWE Championship match, Drew McIntyre versus Randy Orton. We said runner-up for story of the night. You had two really good stories. Both of these world championships were long-told stories. Well, not necessarily even long with Reigns and Uso, but well-told stories, week to week to week, culminating in this big match here at Clash of Champions. It was an ambulance match. We saw interferences from Big Show, from Christian, from Shawn Michaels, and appearances from Ric Flair. It was, again, a well-told story.
Yeah, a well-told story that's not over. So you get your victory on Sunday. But they were just delaying the inevitable.
Hold on, you told me I'm allowed to do this, so I'm just going to take it. Told you so. And then back to your regularly scheduled programming.
Yes, Drew did win that match. But it's not But unfortunately for him, it's not the penultimate match in this feud. Unfortunately, there is a even bigger stipulation match that ends feuds. That's now a name of a pay-per-view that's coming up. And Orton cut a promo promising to take him there.
To HE double hockey sticks?
Yes.
Yeah. Randy Orton on Raw. I just want to praise this Raw segment here before we go over to NXT as well. Again, telling a story start to finish on an episode. You start off with Randy, he leaves the building, there's a segment in the middle with a janitor, and you're a little confused, you think it's a bit awkward, and then the reveal at the end of the show, Randy Orton was the janitor, he pops on his night vision goggles, and he beats the ever-loving HE double hockey sticks out of these legends, and walks off.
And the last image you see is him pointing at everybody that into the Legends room as he's walking off. But nobody realizes it's him.
Well told stories. That's my final word at the moment. Just because we do have to fit NXT TakeOver 31 in. There is some big matches booked for this show. What's your favorite title? Because we got one for everything here.
North American.
North American Championship, Damian Priest, pretty new champion, defending it against Johnny Gargano.
This should be an excellent test of Damian Priest and his short title reign. I really hope he retains it, but I'm scared to death that they're going to do the power couple story.
You mean the photo I sent in the Facebook chat about half an hour ago?
Oh, I haven't even seen that.
Oh,
but I'm scared to death that they're going to put the titles on Gargano and Candice LeRae.
Mm-hmm. It was a mixed title match at the main event of NXT this week. Candice LeRae and Johnny Gargano, and they did defeat Io Shirai and Damian Priest in that match, which means they have the momentum, which means it's probably not going to happen at the show. Well, that's what I say.
We'll definitely have to see. There are definitely questions as to that mystery NXT person.
Mm-hmm.
I personally think that it's Charlotte Flair, and that she's going to come to feud with Io. But other theories are other things. So
Hashtag Bo Dallas.
We'll have to see. Yeah. We'll have to see. But, I really think that this will be a good match. And I think Priest is coming into his own as champion.
Who walks out with the belt?
I want it to be Priest. That's what I want.
Okay. Similar question then. Candice LeRae, Io Shirai. We talked about it a little bit already. Women's title on the line. Who walks out with it?
I want it to be Io Shirai.
The I want it to be's are so convincing.
Yeah. But it's, as I said, in the back of my mind, there's like a 30% chance that both Candice LeRae and Johnny Gargano walk out with gold.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I said I want it to be, but I'm not convinced it's going to happen.
Yeah. NXT Cruiserweight Championship, it's also on the line. Santos Escobar been doing great things with his little stable. Will be taking on Swerve.
I say it's Swerve stock. I think he's pretty talented, but I don't think the storyline for the NXT Cruiserweight Championship is quite finished.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's quite where it needs to be, since they still do refer to it as the interim championship.
Yeah.
And that does mean that there is another champion floating around there. And I have a feeling that that'll come into play at some point, now that they've restarted NXT UK back up.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a feeling that's going to come into play at some point. And I think Santos would be a better option for the feud.
That's fair.
Because of his little stable.
Quick one. No time to discuss the whole match. Kushida, Velveteen Dream, who's walking out the winner?
Kushida.
And now it is NXT Championship. Give it a little bit of time. Finn Balor defending against Kyle O'Reilly from the Undisputed Era.
This will be an amazing match. And I think Finn Balor wins because Adam Cole gets in.
Okay. I'm all aboard the Kyle O'Reilly face turn train. I'm on it. Let's go. Kyle O'Reilly single star to the moon to steal Cameron Grimes' catchphrase.
Yeah, it's more than past time to blow up the Undisputed Era. That's a tag team we can blow up.
NXT's fine.
Because they're not in the division where there's only 4 teams.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think Finn retains. And I think at the end you'll have Kyle O'Reilly and with Adam Cole standing above him. Like, no, you can't do this.
All right, well, we'll have to wait and see what happens this Sunday, NXT TakeOver 31, because we've run out of time this week. It's been great talking to you.
Bye-bye.
Visit our Facebook page, facebook.com/Wrestling Radio, or our Twitter page, twitter.com/Wrestling Radio, and we'll see you next week with the results from that TakeOver show.